Welcome to the Rewriting Naruto series part 7, a series of videos where I rewrite Naruto, making changes to improve it for my personal taste. This is only part 7 of a very long series of videos, so definitely subscribe to this channel so you never miss any future rewrite videos. Also like this video to support the channel and the series. The goal is 400 likes. If we get 400 likes within the first 24 hours from when I drop this video on YouTube, I'll upload the next rewrite within a week. And if you'd like to further support the channel and the series, become a member and get cool perks. Link in the description for that. We pick up after Naruto returns to Konoha from the search for Tsunade arc, and Tsunade takes her post as the 5th Hokage. Before Tsunade heals Sasuke, however, we get a scene with Sakura as she is sitting next to an unconscious Sasuke in the hospital. Sakura thinks, "They told me a genjutsu did this to him. I can't even fathom how a genjutsu can be so powerful to cause this type of damage." She looks at Sasuke on the verge of tears. We then get a flashback that happened before the Chunin exam started. Sakura is walking on Konoha Street as she spots Sasuke coming towards her direction. She smiles in excitement as he approaches. When they are close to each other, Sakura says, "Good morning, Sasuke." Sasuke replies, "Sakura, I was looking for you. I need your help with something." Sakura says, surprised, "My help? Of course, Sasuke. What kind of help?" Sasuke says, "I need to learn how to counter genjutsu. Kakashi is not on the village, he's on a mission, so I figured I would ask you to train with me." Sasuke says that in a shy manner, averting his gaze from Sakura's eyes. Sakura says, "Of course, I really want to help you to get stronger." Both of them go to the standard training grounds, the same place where they fought Kakashi in the bell test. Sakura says, "So, why do you want to train genjutsu countering skills?" Sasuke says, "Well, in the country of crystals, you were the one who bailed me out when that guy caught me in a genjutsu. If you weren't there, I would have been useless." Sakura blushes as he says that. Sasuke says that with a distant expression. Sakura gets the feeling he is being truthful in that statement, but he's not telling her everything. She doesn't push him though. Sasuke says, "You'll cast your genjutsu on me. I'll use my Sharingan and try to block it." Sakura says, "What do you mean block it? How can you even do that?" Sasuke says, "The Sharingan is special. It can see through the genjutsu technique and simply block it from ever taking effect. But I'm not very good at it yet." Sakura says, "Oh, that's amazing." Sasuke activates his 2 Tomoe Sharingan, saying, "Hit me with your genjutsu." Sakura weaves hand signs, casting a basic genjutsu illusion on Sasuke. He opens his eyes wide, but the genjutsu takes effect. Sasuke is unable to block it, but then he dispels the genjutsu, saying, "Again." Sakura does the same thing, and Sasuke is once again unable to block the genjutsu. Again. The two go on for 2 hours or so, doing the same thing over and over, until when Sakura casts a genjutsu and Sasuke blocks it, using his Sharingan alone. Sakura is surprised, but very happy when that happens. "Sasuke! You did it! You did it!" Sasuke smiles and says, "Well, now I'll be able to deal with genjutsu a little better." As he says that, his expression grows distant once again. Sakura says, "Sasuke, does this training have anything to do with your clan?" Sasuke says, "It's nothing you should worry about." Sakura is a little disappointed with that answer. Sasuke looks down. The two get quiet for a moment, and then Sasuke finally says, "The one I must kill. His genjutsu skills are exceptional. I must know how to counter them." Sakura is taken aback, but says, "Oh, I see. I'm glad I could help you with them." Sasuke says, "Yes, thank you." Now looking straight at Sakura, deactivating his Sharingan. The two grow quiet again. It seems they are feeling very self-conscious. Sasuke, blushing a little, finally says, "You know, I lied." Sakura looks at him now in apprehension. "I said Kakashi was on a mission, but he isn't. It's just that I wanted to train with you." Sakura blushes. "Well, it's past lunchtime. Do you want to go get something to eat? You know, together?" Sakura's jaw drops, and she is at a loss for words. Sasuke says, "It's fine if you have something else to do." Sakura then says louder than she expected, "Yeah, Of course, let's go eat something. We cut back to Sakura staring at Sasuke laying on that bed. Now she is crying and thinking as well, even my training was useless. I couldn't do anything for him. It's at that moment that Tsunade and Naruto enter the room and Tsunade heals Sasuke. The scene goes the same way as in the original. However, there is something that happens during that scene that changes Naruto. When Naruto sees Sakura crying desperately and hugging Sasuke after he wakes up, something will finally click on Naruto. He will understand that Sakura and Sasuke have a special connection and will finally acknowledge that his feelings for Sakura were much more related to his rivalry with Sasuke than anything else, and that he simply wanted to one-up Sasuke, and liking Sakura was a way to do that. It's at that moment that Naruto will no longer have a crush on Sakura and mature, understanding that he should not meddle with Sasuke and Sakura's romantic feelings, and now Sakura will be much more of a friend, almost like a sister to Naruto. The flashback scene serves to deepen the bond between Sakura and Sasuke, and also to show Sasuke being a nice guy, shy and somewhat cold, but still nice to Sakura. That will contrast very well with Sasuke after he wakes up, after his defeat against Itachi and his thoughts of revenge, and also how he wants to increase his power through the curse mark and Orochimaru. We'll see that Sasuke will undergo a massive change after the Tsukiyomi happened to him. After that, we continue with the Sasuke Retrieval Arc, and things happen exactly the same way as they did in the original, until we get to the point when Sasuke is about to leave the village. Sakura intercepts him like in the original, and the scene goes about the same way. We can see the heavy contrast between Sasuke now and how he was in the flashback, and how his encounter with Itachi changed his mentality, as well as the alluring power of the curse mark. Though I've always interpreted that scene between Sasuke and Sakura as Sasuke trying his hardest to push Sakura away, not because he dislikes her, but because he doesn't want her to get caught up in the nasty things he'll have to do to achieve his revenge. When he says to her, "You're annoying," maybe he meant it at the moment because Sakura was being annoyingly persistent, but I've always seen that as a way of making Sakura stop liking him so she doesn't get hurt any further. So in the rewrite, I'm adding just a very small thing to the scene. Sasuke punches Sakura and puts her on that bench like in the original. As he is leaving, we can see a single tear coming out of Sasuke's eye. That symbolizes his internal conflict, and also that he still has feelings towards Sakura and also for his friends and the village. The deeper relationship between the two that we developed in the rewrite makes that moment when Sasuke thanks Sakura just before punching her more impactful and emotional. Things continue to go the same way, and then we get to the 5-man rescue team. I am not changing anyone on the rescue team because the way the arc is structured around those 5 guys is the closest thing you can get to perfection. You may have noticed that I'm not really removing anything from the arc, I'm mostly adding some scenes and that's about it. That's because this is one of the best arcs in the series and it doesn't require a lot of changing. But there will be a change in the team's mood prior to going into the mission because of the nature of this rewrite. Sasuke has had many more interactions with the Konoha 11, so they are much more attached to him. It's not just Naruto who's a friend of Sasuke here. Instead of Shikamaru saying that he doesn't care too much about Sasuke but he'll rescue him anyway because he's a comrade from the Leaf Village, Shikamaru will say, "Sasuke and I fought together and he was my captain once." Shikamaru then will remember when Sasuke saved him from Kurotsuchi's stone golem in the country of crystals. "He saved my life once, and now it's our turn to save him. Furthermore, he's a comrade of the Leaf Village and I'll stake my life on this mission." Kiba, who now respects Naruto much more for defeating him, and Neji in the Chunin exam says, "And when we bring him back, I'll return that punch to the face so he'll know not to do something stupid like this again." The arc then remains the same as in the original until Neji wins his fight against Kidomaru. We're going to add a scene after that. What I'm adding is something I find it very odd that Kishimoto didn't include in the manga. It's Rock Lee's surgery. In the original, it just happens off screen and we just see Lee arriving and kicking Kimimaru and all that. And I know this was done for the sake of suspense and surprise, but I'm adding a scene where we see Rock Lee entering the operation room, nervous as Shizune prepares Tsunade's surgery equipment and Tsunade is getting ready as well. Tenten, Sakura and Ino sit apprehensive outside of the surgery room awaiting for the result. Obviously, we don't see the actual surgery procedure, but this moment of anticipation is important. We had all the build-up with Rock Lee and Guy to have Lee make the decision to undergo surgery, and that was great. It's just that the surgery itself happens off-screen, which I don't really like. Lee's arrival kicking Kimimaro and his role in the story for this arc remains the same. I'm just adding that quick surgery preparation scene. And I think that the fights in this arc are all perfect. So I'm not really changing any of them. I'm just adding one small thing to two fights. The first one being Kiba versus Sakon. What I'm adding here is a moment of redemption for Kiba after he was just a jerk with Naruto all the time. Even though he's been changing because he lost to Naruto in the Chunin exams, this moment should serve to solidify his redemption and make him a better guy. When Ukon invades Kiba's body, Kiba's counter was to stab himself to damage Ukon with him, which is a pretty badass move actually. In the rewrite, Kiba hesitates to do that, but then he thinks about Naruto not giving up when they both fought in the Chunin exams and how Naruto persevered and defeated him. As he sees Naruto's determined face in his mind's eye, he mumbles, "Thank you, Naruto. I won't lose here either." And then he stabs himself, surprising Ukon, just like in the original. It's nothing too grandiose, but a nice moment of Kiba acknowledging Naruto and using him as an inspiration to do something that requires a lot of courage. The other addition will be to the Naruto vs Sasuke fight in the Valley of the End. When Sasuke is using the second stage of the curse mark and Naruto is using the one-tail Kyuubi cloak, right before they clash their Chidori and Rasengan, they have a brief conversation on the foot of the Hashirama and Madara statues in the original. It will go about the same way here in the rewrite, but I'll add some things to that conversation. Sasuke will say, "Did you know this place is called the Valley of the End, the border of the Land of Fire? This is the perfect setting, isn't it, Naruto? It's as though destiny itself wanted us to fight here. You, the son of a Hokage, standing next to him." Sasuke points to Hashirama's statue. "The first Hokage. And I, standing here." He points to Madara's statue. "The former leader of my clan, and also my great-grandfather." Naruto is surprised at that. "He fought the first Hokage right here long ago. He also left the village. I can understand him now." Naruto says, "He was a monster, and you know that. His blood courses through my veins, so that makes two of us. Well, it's finally ending." And then Sasuke continues with the same dialogue he had in the original. Yes, in the rewrite, Sasuke is a direct descendant of Madara. This is the information Sasuke found out in part 6 that shocked him when he went to the Uchiha Stone Tablet Chamber. He found a hidden parchment of the Uchiha family tree, and that's how he got the information. Establishing a connection between Madara and Sasuke now will pay off well later, and I like this theme of Sasuke having several problematic relatives, on top of his clan, which is problematic by itself. Naruto and Sasuke's fight will end the same way, and the arc will continue without changes. I really thought about killing off Choji and Neji here. It would be a good ending for those two characters, but I'm not going to. I have some plans for them in Shippuden. So things will go the same way after they fail to retrieve Sasuke and then the mission is over. I am changing one thing on the last chapter in part 1 though. In that chapter we see Hiyashi and Neji sparring, but in the rewrite it will be Hinata and Neji. As we established before, Neji is training with Hinata, so we'll continue that thread here. Also, in the rewrite, Hinata goes to say goodbye to Naruto before he leaves with Jiraiya. We had a quick scene of Hinata seeing Naruto off and saying, "Naruto, good luck." As she blushes, Naruto looks back at her, smiles and says, "Don't worry, Hinata, I'll come back and I'll be super strong." At a distance, we see Danzo observing the interaction between Hinata and Naruto. One Root Anbu member is next to him. Danzo narrows his only visible eye and says, "So, The Kyuubi is leaving the village for a while. I hope that fool Jiraiya doesn't lose our most precious asset. He narrows his eye even more, looking at Hinata and Naruto smiling at each other. And then he himself smiles. We'll make preparations for when the little beast returns. The rest of the chapter happens the same way that in the original, but when we are introduced to the Akatsuki, we can use the power of hindsight to actually make their designs look like they eventually will in Shippuden. There were some really strange designs that were never used in Shippuden for the Akatsuki members the first time we saw them in the hologram, so we're fixing that here, for the sake of continuity. We also see the Rinnegan for the first time here, and we can also make the Rinnegan's design look like the actual Rinnegan will look in Shippuden. That should be a hype moment in the rewrite because the audience knows the legend of the Rinnegan, and seeing it for the first time should be a great revelation. Oh, the Akatsuki has a Rinnegan, the legendary eye of the Sage of Six Paths. In the original, seeing the Rinnegan for the first time was pretty inconsequential. It was just a quirky eye, but no one really gave any thought to it. But in the rewrite, we know what the Rinnegan is a little bit. We know about its legend because Orochimaru mentioned it, and this should make the audience hyped for part 2. But we're not done yet. Don't leave this video just yet, because the Kakashi Gaiden arc happens in between parts 1 and 2 in the manga, so I will mention it here. I am not changing anything to that arc. It's very straightforward and well told, no real need to modify anything in that story. Kakashi's backstory is set up very well, and we also see a better glimpse of Minato's strength, which is good because it works well in conjunction with the flashback we got to see him in part 3 of the rewrite. And that's it! In part 8, we'll begin rewriting Naruto Shippuden. Watch it right here if it's out already. Also, please like the video to help me out and support the series. Let's reach 400 likes, let's go! And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Comment below what you thought about the changes I made, and thanks for watching.